Hey, y'all, welcome to Gadfly, the podcast about third parties, French candidates, and generally weird American electoral history. I'm Dusty Wilson.
I'm Una O'Leary.
Hey, we're in hell.
Hey,
Cool. Cool. We're back here again.
hey, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, well, technically, we're in line for hell, which is, the wait for it sucks. It's like a really shitty Disney ride where they have to fill the line up with events and things to keep your attention for a split second. And so you're like, oh, Kristi Noem's the head of Homeland Security. Whatever,
Oh my
sure.
God.
That'll fill my
Yeah,
brain for a little bit.
yeah. It's like, oh, cool. I had just managed to stop waking up full body clenched
hmm
thinking about Ukraine,
hmm
but great. Now there's so much more to worry about.
Yeah, it's not great, but I think today's episode might be a really good way. It's just, it's completely off topic. It's not about a third party or a French candidate or a weird thing of American electoral history. It's just educational and random, a random topic I pulled out of the ether that has nothing to do with the situation that we're in right now.
Fabulous. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
So
take me there, Dusty.
So I've heard, a lot of people might want to leave America. Just suddenly, people have gotten a hunch to want to do that.
Oh, you mean even without trying, like YouTube, Instagram algorithm, everything has just been like, do you have a grandparent or even a great grandparent
Mm,
from Ireland? And it's like some lawyer LLC or like, hey, Canadian visas. And I'm just like, wow, this shift from like the weird ass
mhm.
ukrainianbride.com
Right.
ads that I used to get because the internet thinks I'm an incel and I don't know what I did to deserve that.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely gone from just a nice Irishman making stools by hand, not using any like modern tools or anything, and just speaking with a very charming brogue. And now it's just like people very seriously being like, yeah, I'm just gonna go on Hinge and I'm just looking for people with dual citizenship.
Yeah.
Like it's dark
Yeah.
times. But you and I, we've been around since at least the 2000, a time
Mm-hmm.
in which the threat, which I'm sure it existed before then, but it seemed to really kind of boost in earnest, is the threat that if blank wins, I'm moving to Canada.
Yes. Yes.
And it's always said by celebrities and things like that. But I think you kind of get into the idea of just like, oh, moving to another country is actually very easy. And, what's the word I'm looking for? A feasible action if you want.
I blame the lost generation writers because I think part of it is like, especially for us who are a little bit on the older side of millennials and, certainly our Gen Z compatriots growing up reading F. Scott Fitzgerald,
Mhm.
Hemingway, learning
Right.
about Gloria Stein. Yeah, it's not Steinem. Yeah, all the like literary movers and shakers of the
Mhm.
1920s and 30s in
Right.
France. And it's like, yeah, you just kind of rocked up and
Yeah.
wrote an article now and then for the Herald Tribune and you were set for life.
Right. Yeah. Or like, on the other side of Hemingway, Mussolini just walked into Austria a bunch of times and no one stopped him, despite him getting kicked out multiple times. So,
Y'all like that?
yeah, it used to just be that easy.
Yeah.
And, things have kind of gotten in the way. So this episode is going to cover not every single option that people have. And I'm talking about legal options. Because anyone can walk across a border, in theory.
I think I saw someone on Twitter before I deactivated my account the other day
Mhm.
say something like, "Oh no, the wall was to keep us in."
Mhm. Yep, yep. But yeah, so we're going to be going over like as many of the legal options as I can. We are going to be, blowing over a few because there's just not a whole lot to talk about and they're very self-explanatory. But
Mhm.
first, there are four big notes that I would like to get to at the top of this.
Hell yeah.
Big note one. So, like I said, we're mostly going to be hitting the main details of these options, but each visa or citizenship program has their own varying details. Country to country can vary greatly, so if any of these programs are intriguing to you, check out the official government sites of these programs for finer details. Now, it's going to be very tempting to just type in, like, I'm picking a country, like Canada naturalization. And if Google worked, the first thing you would get would be like whatever division or department in Canada of their government runs that sort of thing.
Sure.
Instead, now it's just a bunch of immigration lawyers that may or may not be on the level,
Yeah.
and a bunch of like expat websites that seem to kind of mostly be written in AI, but I'm not 100. I can't
Ugh.
prove it.
Oh God.
And then
Okay.
just some very earnest libertarian capitalist sort of sites that have some good information, but
Incredible.
right. So treat them like Wikipedia. They're good for like, the initial information, but if you really want to dig down on something, go to the main source for where this all is.
Yeah. CanadaGov.ca.
Right. Big note number two. Before going all in on a program, I highly recommend hiring an immigration lawyer with an expertise in the nation that you're wanting to move to. Now, this isn't going to be something you have to do with every program, but for some countries, it is downright required. And for some programs, you absolutely have to do it to make sure that you do not get scammed. So with this, there are local immigration organizations that you can check. Most of those are like for people immigrating to America.
Right.
But with some, it might be a really good resource to find information on moving out or look for immigration sources based in the country in which you're looking to move to. Also, a lot of these countries will have lists of lawyers that they recommend and trust. That's another good source to be able to get that information. Note number three, neither of us are immigration lawyers or experts.
Absolutely not. Nope.
So please double check everything. This is not legal advice. Also, the requirements to move to another country change all the freaking time. So be aware that as of this recording, anywhere from a month out to even further, details could change 180 on anything that we talk about. So this is more so just to kind of kick off your ideas and then do further research.
Yeah, and understand that month to month things like a 3 month tourist visa, if you just want to do that and
Mhm.
just like keep hopping back and forth from the country because I don't know, you're independently wealthy, but
Right.
those visas might skyrocket
Mhm.
in price
Right.
at a moment's notice based on what our government does to piss off your host government.
Correct.
Not that I have personal experience with this.
Oh my God. Great. Cool. See, this is what helps. You have internationally traveled, so I think that's going to be invaluable for this. Also, a big thanks to Redditor Scarlet Slicer, who did a ton of the legwork on this topic 3 years ago on the AmeriExit subreddit.
Ooh,
She dove in deep with a lot of this stuff. And thankfully, a lot of the information was still mostly accurate. And she still seems fairly active on that subreddit still. So just keep an eye out for her posts. They're pretty solid.
very cool. We love a deep dive.
And finally, note four, becoming an expat is not an easy thing. It's something if you decide to do and you have to do it, be prepared to have to store, sell, give away, or donate the majority of your things. It is possible to have your stuff moved by boat, but the process can take months. It's expensive, and there are a number of stories out there where people have said the process just is not worth it. One story that I read, a person waited 4 months for their furniture and stuff to get to their place. And by the time it got there, they'd already bought all new stuff. And
Mm.
so now they just were doubled up on items. Also, using Europe as an example, shelter here is larger than it is in Europe,
Yes.
and you will
Yeah.
not have room to store your stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is it. It's a very, very serious thing if you decide to do it. If you plan on coming back to America, storage units are probably the best way to go. If this is going to be a 100% decision for you and you're never coming back, sell your stuff. Keep only the stuff that you know you cannot live without or has too much personal value to let go. And that's going to be far cheaper to put on a boat and ship over and a lot less stress when it finally gets to wherever you are. All right, so I think that covers everything. I think that covers our butts.
I would also add maybe take a bite of humble pie and consider yourself American immigrants. Like
Mhm.
really like because the expat
Right, right.
title has like a classy kind of signifier to it.
That's
And like
yeah.
let's be honest, we're leaving for safety reasons.
That's an extremely good point. I think I've been using the term expat because a lot of the sites that I've been looking at use that, and then all of
Oh,
a sudden it's like,
sure.
oh, you're selling like a remote gated community in Nicaragua is what you're doing. You're purposely setting up like
Oh,
a rich
yeah.
conclave, and you're seriously showing the rules of how to get there. But you're definitely not going to integrate into a new country. You're going there to create America Junior.
And that, yeah, that's, I feel like that should be the signifier for an expat, which is fascinating because it's like I would never consider that life.
Right. It
Like,
sounds
oh,
horrific.
right, that's a thing. How,
Yeah.
oh boy.
Like I've never thought to myself, what if I lived on a cruise but on the land?
Hmm.
Just like, yeah. So yeah, American immigrant I think is a great phrase to use from here on out. All right, you ready?
I'm so ready.
All right. So, first off, you got to know what happened or how to actually give up your US citizenship. So step one or step zero, and I am guilty of this, get a passport now.
You don't have a passport,
I have
Dusty?
filled out the paperwork 3 times and then just not gone to the post office.
Oh, I can't front you for that. I that was me with my goddamn Irish documentation.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
sat on it for ages.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
seems
So
like a
go.
nice game.
The place that you can get a passport application is the U.S. Postal Service. So just go to a post office. They'll have like a small stack to hand out. You will need to get a very specific sized picture taken.
Hmm.
You can't really print it off from anything. You have to go to like a Walgreens or a CVS. Their photo center specifically will take passport pictures, and then you can attach it to your passport and then turn it into the post office when you are done.
There's also usually some kind of like, depending on the city you live in and how big a metropolis is, often near city hall or like federal buildings, there'll be some like janky corner store that also like advertises taking passports, and
Right.
that's where I got mine last time.
How long did the process take for you?
I'm trying to remember. I might have paid extra to expedite it slightly. I think 6 weeks.
Okay, that's pretty good. Plenty of time to be able to get that in while everyone else is probably rushing as well.
Oof.
All right, so that's a good step one. It's not 100% required, but you absolutely should do it. But if you don't, there are like a couple options you have, and we'll get to those. So, step one, before you give up your citizenship, you have to get a second passport or second citizenship from another country. The reason for this is America has a very strict law that they want to make sure that you don't just give up your citizenship and then you're just a stateless person, which means you belong to no country. And that does happen with people from time to time, but it makes any kind of moving or gaining citizenship anywhere else nearly impossible.
Yeah. And usually in that situation, you're at a border applying for asylum
Correct.
because your country has been taken over and no longer exists.
100%, yeah. So this is just pretty much it's there to make sure that no one severely fucks up and gets in a terrible situation. Step 2, so many fucking forms. So you have to file to the State Department to renounce your citizenship. These forms are to make sure that you know the effects of what you're giving up and that you know you are giving up your citizenship. Once again, just another safeguard for America.
Honestly, this makes a lot of sense. This makes so much more sense than the transvaginal ultrasounds required
Yep, yep.
for anyone considering an abortion.
Now, this is also where we end up with our first bit of fuckery. Depending on which country you have moved to, because with some countries to actually get citizenship somewhere else, some situations you can get it immediately. Some situations you have to reside in your new country for a number of years. And so, depending on where you are in your new country, you either will fill out these forms at home or you fill them out at the consulate with a witness there. It just varies country to country. So, this is the first instance of check the rules where you are.
So maybe step point five is pick a country or top five.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you want to oh my God, I'm gonna upper middle class this bullshit. Treat it like college applications.
Yes.
Have a
Yes.
safety country.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, like, you no, that's not really an option, but I get what you're saying. Not a lot of people are gonna get to have a safety country. It's like you'll get one if you're lucky.
Yes.
Step 3, you've sent in the forms. Step 3 is schedule an appointment with the consulate. This meeting is when you pay a renunciation fee of $2,350 to the US government. And that money is specifically just to pay the fees of making you not a citizen, of filling out the paperwork, kicking you out of the system, and making things just official.
Mhm.
Step 4, the State Department reviews the paperwork, which takes, quote, several months. It does seem like it's rare for the State Department to decline a renunciation request if all the paperwork is accurate. And I didn't find many examples of them declining that sort of thing. I imagine it would have to be like, oh, you murdered a bunch of people. Decline and come home.
Right. It's like, no, you need to come back here.
Right. Step 5, you have to pay your final taxes. So we talked about this a little bit on the last episode, is that
Yeah.
yeah, there's a ton of taxes you have to pay, especially if you happen to be wealthy. So first you pay your yearly income tax for the amount of time that you've been in America for your last year. So say, you're in America for 6 months, you're in your new country for 6 months, you pay half of your income tax. It's prorated. That's the word. You pay a prorated income tax. After that, you have to prove that you have been compliant with taxes for 5 years. If you have a net worth of over $2 million, the average listener of our podcast, or have an average net income of $190,000 over the past 5 years, or if you fail to certify you've paid your taxes in the past 5 years, then you are subject to an exit tax. So, quote, the exit tax treats you as having sold all your worldwide assets on a renunciation date. You are taxed on any unrealized gains exceeding $821,000. And after this, you will still be liable for any taxes due to business remaining in America, such as basing a company or renting out a property in the States. And that covers the taxes.
This is why I found it delicious when, I guess, a few years ago, or maybe during like the primaries leading up to the 2020 election, Elizabeth Warren was on some CNBC type show, and they're just like, well, if the taxes go up, like, what is stopping the wealthy from just like leaving America? Like, certain people have threatened to leave America, and Warren was just like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a tax for that. Fucking get the fuck out.
Let them.
Yeah. Deuces, I believe, as the founding fathers said. So one thing I didn't know, which I thought was kind of cool, is that if you've paid into Social Security for at least 10 years, you still get those benefits, even if you're not a citizen anymore.
That is nice.
Now, there is an asterisk next to that, and that's if you move to a country that America embargoes in the future.
Yeah. That could be anyone. What the hell?
Look, it's just an asterisk. I'm saying, so if you move to, like, let's just say now, if you move to Cuba,
sure,
they will not send that money because there is no proof they have that you're not going to take that money and then use it to pay taxes. I don't know. Does Cuba have taxes? I don't even know. They're not just going to buy Castro descendants a drink.
Right. You're not going to take that money and do a socialism.
Right. Love it. So I do think we need to spend a little time talking about the two options for leaving America for longer than like a vacation, and that is visa versus citizenship. Now, visa grants you the legal ability to stay in a nation, but might be limited to a period of time or subject to requirements, such as maintaining a job. The visa just makes sure that you're not going to get kicked out, but you don't have any of the privileges of being a citizen of that country. Now, the residency and all of that can help you get to citizenship, which is pretty self-explanatory and is a lot harder to obtain, and in some countries is impossible to attain for certain people. And we'll get to some of that a little later. So okay. I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on countries where citizenship is more actively available, but also highlighting countries where it's easier to get like a residency sort of thing for a long period of time, but maybe countries where you could never become a citizen.
Yeah.
Which leads to the first option that I just want to knock out right now, asylum. So I'm going to use the Canada's definition of asylum for now. I did try to find Mexico's, and it was pretty similar, so I think it's pretty similar across the board. So for Canada, quote, under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, a person in need of protection is a person in Canada who would be subjected personally to a danger of torture, a risk to life, or a risk of cruel and unusual treatment or punishment if they were returned to their home country. So it sucks to kind of say that right now, but asylum would not be applicable to anyone in America as it stands right now.
Right.
Using Florida as an example, there is a lot of prejudice and hostility towards trans people there. Does not raise to the level of what would be used to be able to accept asylum in Canada. It's terrible, but you have to actively be in a threat of torture or death to be able to successfully apply for asylum. And we are, as a federal government, we are not there yet.
Right.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, good.
Yeah. But the thing with asylum too is that asylum really kind of cuts a lot of the any sort of waiting out of the equation if it suddenly becomes a thing. You can just walk across the border, declare asylum at the first station that you get to. And the way it's supposed to work is that you stay in the country while they review your case and then decide whether or not your life is in danger or not. And if it is, you get to stay. And if not, they send you back. Which is why the Remain in Mexico policy is so fucked up, because
so fucked up.
Yeah, you're sending people back to a location where their life may be at risk. So huzzah. But yeah, so if asylum does become an option, I have a feeling the rest of this episode is useless to you because
but it's like you could stop listening now.
Right. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Get a tent, learn how to walk in the woods, and yeah, just get across that border as fast as you can. We're not lawyers. So that would bring us to like if you're being, if you're just preparing, just in case you just want to go to another country, live your life, do something new. Wink.
You're a prepper, but an
Right.
Espanol or Portuguese.
Exactly. Yes. First we're going to start with the easier options for most. One of the first things, marriage. Marriage is a really good way to be able to move somewhere else with less of a headache. And
Get that green card.
exactly. Once again, look at all the nations to see what the rules are for spouses and things like that. What sort of laws are in place because some countries are like, okay, did you move here to not die? Or is this like, are you actually in love with someone? Is this marriage legitimate? Which could be a pain. But I mean, hey, if you love someone in Lithuania, go for it, man. Now's the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is
Um,
why hasn't Hinge or someplace gotten on this?
my God.
Like
It's money on the table, is what it is.
it
And I'm ashamed
really
that we
is.
have no idea how to build that app
I know.
or how to make sure that crime doesn't occur on it.
Definitely the harder half.
Right, right. So that's an option. Another option is student visas. So let's just say, you know what, you've gotten really interested in getting that master's degree, or maybe you want to get a second master's or a
Oh
doctorate,
yeah.
or maybe you're
There's
18 and you're still looking to get that bachelor's. Now's
mm,
the fucking time. There are some really good
hmm
international schools in England or Australia.
or France.
Yeah, I mean the cool thing about Britain and Australia though is that you get to stay for an extra 2 years after graduation.
2 years?
2 years.
Damn.
In Ireland, if you go there to get your master's degree, they also let you stay for another 2 years.
Oh, too bad there's nowhere to live.
Now,
Oh.
look, I found a lot of haunted homes in the country that are
Yeah.
very affordable.
Honestly, the country's like 2 hours across by
Right,
car.
right.
So,
Yeah, I think all of our commutes are longer than that. So
yes, yeah.
but Australia really kind of has the most interesting student visa bonuses. If you go there for your master's degree for like, if you're just doing coursework to get your master's, then you get the 2 year thing. However, if you're getting your master's and it requires a very research heavy master's, so like in the sciences, then you get to stay for 3 years after you graduate.
Ooh.
If you go there to get your doctorate, 4 years.
And by then you'll definitely have met a sexy Aussie.
Right. You'll save someone from a shark, or, you'll nearly die from a wallaby bite, and then someone will come by and save you, and then it's love.
Yes. Oh God, I love their accents.
It's the best. So, yeah. And as I said before, it does depend country to country if your time as a student actually counts towards the residency requirements. For some, it does not count at all. And for some countries, it counts, I think Spain's one of them, it counts for half. So if you go for 4 years, you get 2 years of residency for that to count towards
Hmm.
citizenship. But yeah,
Hmm.
it entirely varies. Yeah, so that's one option. Work visas are also a really good option. And for that, just look for work overseas, yo.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. A close friend of mine, after graduation, ended up moving to Germany
Ooh.
because he got a job writing interactive werewolf porn.
What?
Yeah, it was like for an app.
Oh my God, that's the dream.
Yeah, and he's like still in Berlin doing fine.
Ah,
The
ah.
most employed out of the majority of us, probably. Yeah, and so it's probably one of the easier ways. It's, you're not going to get immediate citizenship, but a work visa will go a long way to, start adding towards your residency requirement. And then eventually you could get citizenship from that. Australia, once again, has a very interesting program too called a skilled independent visa.
Skilled independent visa.
Yeah, that's now we can't go. We couldn't anyway. This is a tough one. So, essentially, what it is it is a very specific visa for people who have expertise in what appears to be the hard sciences and engineering.
Oh, that's not us at all.
Oh
But
no.
to any listener out there, get on it.
The Home Affairs Office has a test that you have to review. If you get more than 65 points on the test, then they recommend that you write in to request to be able to apply for this visa, and then they respond back to let you know if you're allowed.
Ooh.
Yeah, but this is also a great way to get in, especially with jobs,
Mhm.
because it's meant to fill in gaps in the industry in Australia. But let's say you're a little fancier than that. You already have a job. What you really want to get is a digital nomad visa.
Yeah, tell me about this digital nomad visa.
So a digital nomad visa, you have to be 18. You have to meet the monthly salary requirements of whatever country you're in. So you have to tell
Yeah.
them how much you make each month, and you have to work for a company that allows you to work anywhere. So, some companies you're only allowed to live in certain states, others are a little more loosey goosey about it.
Hmm.
So it essentially just allows you to travel from country to country, living short term. And I believe it's like 40 different countries that offer this. And you work there for a few months, then you jet set to the next country, you rent a place, you work there for a little bit, and you just kind of bounce around at your leisure.
This is like crack cocaine for me in my 20s.
Yeah, right? It's
I didn't have the job or the income that would have made this feasible for me,
right.
but the hopping around, I was all over.
100%. I mean, it sounds amazing. It sounds just as amazing as it does stressful because I can't
Yes.
imagine being like a week out going from like London to Dubai and then being like, how the fuck am I going to get an apartment in Dubai in 1 week?
Oof.
It's like I imagine at the beginning of the year you have to set up where you're living and then
Yeah.
yeah, you have to be a few steps ahead for this to work. And rich.
Yeah.
Rich probably helps.
That definitely helps.
Yeah, there's not many like small companies that are, adaptive with international tax code.
I just assumed it was for like influencers or the
Mm,
self-employed, and if they could
yeah.
show that like freelancing or whatever, they routinely make X amount of money.
That would make a ton of sense for the YouTube set of people who actually do bounce around like that and rent expensive properties and act like, they're millionaires and jet setting. Oh God, I've seen behind the door. So yeah, so that's an option. So another option if you just graduated college, whether it's undergrad or grad, there's working holiday visas, which are designed to allow those aged 35 and under who are in college or have graduated within the last year to spend up a year working abroad.
Damn it. Why did
Right? No one told us.
no one told us?
Like all the bartenders in New York City from Ireland knew, but none of us ever.
Yeah, but I just assumed that's like, yeah, they get J1 visas. We get, we get dick.
Right? No, we get debt and we're done. So admittedly, this is the first kind of work visa I know very little about. Au pair visas.
Ah, yes.
They seem to be most popular in France, Spain, and Britain, where essentially if you have to be under a certain age, I believe 25 is the main cutoff that I've read, but wasn't able to find enough details on this. But yeah, you go abroad, take care of some rich guy's kids. Hopefully nothing bad happens.
I've heard too that there can sometimes be an English like a language component
Mhm.
to it.
Yes.
In which case, a good rule of thumb is that for English teaching, I'm sure we're going to be talking about this in a bit, but
Mhm.
Europe prefers a British accent and Asia prefers a North American accent. So
Okay.
in terms of like au pair, if that's the setup, but
Right. Well, teaching English abroad is the next one. So I know you
hey,
have a bit of expertise with that as well.
I do have some lived experience.
Yeah. So what was the process for this? Because I've heard everything from people having great experiences to people being like, I got there, they took my passport, it was a scam.
Yeah, luckily that didn't happen to me. The what had happened to me was it was like a year after graduation, a close friend from college called up and he was like, "Stop me if you've heard this one before," but he was like, "Hey, my girlfriend and I are going to move to South Korea and teach little kids English to get out of Bush's America for a bit. Do you want to
Oh,
come?"
sweet deal. Wow.
So he had a connection with what's known in South Korea as a hagwon, which is a private tutoring school where like you go for like extra math or extra language or
Okay.
whatever, just on top of your daily course load in a regular public school. So that like your visa is set up through the school, obviously, and then I ended up staying on, and usually the contracts are for a year. And if you have a master's or if you have like TOEFL
Okay. Yeah.
certification, you can get a job working at one of the public schools, which pays a lot
Oh.
better, has a lot more like rights, things like that.
Okay.
Those are like this, and I knew like one of the guys I taught with, I don't know where he met his wife, but the two of them ended up being just international English teachers. So like
Oh.
that is its own ecosphere of people who will like live in Cambodia for a year. They have a family or they're teaching at like an American high school of Dubai or
Mhm.
whatever. And I think it's the same thing of just like you start to network, you start to know people and like where the good teaching positions are. But if you want to live abroad, that is a good way to do it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we move on to retirement visas. Now, This is specifically it varies country to country, but the most common age cutoff I've seen is 50 and above. Some are 65 and above. But yeah, it's for people who have full tilt retired, and countries offer residencies for retirees so long as they meet a pension requirement.
Sure.
So, for example, Costa Rica requires a pension of $1,000 a month, and you have to be over
Okay.
65. The Philippines offer a retirement program for people over 50 and a monthly pension of $800. Probably the most interesting one, and it really kind of feels like the one that if you're doing well financially and you just really want to go to nowhere, the African island nation of Mauritius, which is in the Indian Ocean, has a program for
Ooh.
50 and up, requires $1,500 a month. But the bonus with this is that it grants a 10-year residency with the
Ah.
option after 3 years of extending it to 20 years of residency.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Mauritius is it's a swanky place in some place. A lot of golfing, a lot of resorts.
Yeah, if you hate your grandkids or
I do hate my grandkids. You're
don't
right.
have
I
any,
should move to
like I'm
Mauritius.
gonna move to the middle of the Indian Ocean.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean I'm sure it's gorgeous too, but I mean the 10-year residency is a great freaking deal.
Yeah, and it's got to be safer than Florida.
Yeah.
Like
I mean
has nice weather.
I don't know where the typhoons usually go or the monsoons. For now we'll say it's awesome. But yeah, and so that's a a great option if you have a pension or if Social Security pays out a decent chunk for you at the end.
Hmm.
And then we get to the final of the easier options, and probably one of the more interesting things I didn't know about the Compact of Free Association. Now, this is an agreement.
What in the libertarian nonsense is
It's
this?
it sounds libertarian, but I promise you it's Eisenhower Kennedy bullshit.
Incredible! Lay it on me.
All right, so this is an agreement that America made with the Marshall Islands, Micronesia, and Palau, which are all Pacific Island nations.
Right.
In exchange for financial aid, access to U.S. social services such as SNAP and TANF, and military protection, Americans can freely travel to these nations without a visa.
Oh.
And this also means that Americans living in these areas can also still keep getting SNAP, TANF, Social Security benefits, and Medicaid.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's a pretty sweet deal. Now, I did do a bit of research into moving to these countries. The main things a lot of people brought up is that you really kind of have to get used to the new pace of life. It's a little more laid back. If you're the kind of person who requires the fancy things in life, no, that's not going to happen. The internet's a bit slow sometimes.
Oh no.
And you can't be a jerk to the locals.
Yeah, that I feel like that's a sticking point for a lot of people.
Yeah, like from what I've read, everyone in these nations are extremely kind, but the second you step out of line and like insult them or like actively show that you're not going to be respectful, you will not have a good time.
Hell fucking yeah. Get them off the island.
Right. The problem though is like if you want citizenship in these countries, it's varying levels of difficulty. The Marshall Islands require 10 years of residency before you can apply for citizenship. In theory, you can get citizenship in Micronesia, but it is notoriously difficult. And in Palau, if you don't have any direct ancestors, you're never going to get citizenship. You're just
Wow.
flat out banned.
Wow.
Yeah. So these are options. Like if you don't have a passport, these are the few options you have. So let's say things get kind of fucky in America.
Yeah,
You gotta
let's
go.
say.
Let's say, and you just gotta go. And let's say you were like an activist, or you've been at a number of protests and things like that.
Hmm.
The downside with this is extradition is going to be a lot easier in these places due to this compact of free association.
Ah,
So if you want to, like, I don't know, disappear somewhere, while it may be easier to get to these places, it is in no way going to be your safest option.
yeah, because there's quite a strong umbilical cord back to the
Right.
motherland.
Right. So those are the easy options. Any comments so far?
My God. I mean, you're the teaching visas brought back like a wave of memories.
I hope good ones. Okay.
Mostly. But yeah, I mean, I knew people who got teaching spots in France, there's the jet program for Japan. What's also interesting is people are, if that's the route people want to take, it's like adjusting your mentality of like what you get paid versus cost of living. Like
Mm-hmm.
a number of places, especially in Southeast Asia, it's like you're not making much, but you're also kind of living like a king.
Right.
So yeah, like you're not going to be saving money to come back, but it can be a very comfortable living situation.
So our next category, genetic luck. And with this, we're going to be kicking things off with the thing that I'm pretty sure most people are most common with, just sanguinis, which is Latin for
To rule of blood.
yeah, rule of blood. I know sanguinis is blood, and I think it
Yeah.
just is just yeah, rule of blood. So yeah, this is the thing that if you have family that you can date back and prove that they're citizens of whatever country, then you have the option of filing to become a citizen of that country.
Hell yeah. Sorry, Grandma. We're making a U-turn here.
I'm bringing back potatoes. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna huck them at the British. So one of the best recommendations that I saw for this is that, just get a very basic family tree that dates back to your great grandparents. Fill it in from both sides of your family. And if any of the past relatives were citizens of countries, then
Yeah.
write those down and look into them. However, if you get to your great grandparents and they're all Americans, you're mostly shit out of luck. Now there are some examples of where you're not, and we'll get to those.
Mm.
And using Europe as an example, there are a couple second generation countries. So like if your parents were citizens of this country, then you get to go back, and that's like Croatia, Czechia, Malta, Portugal, Romania, Slovenia, and Spain. And then there is a list of third generation countries. So if your grandparents were citizens there, then you can go back, and that counts for Bulgaria, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Japan, which Japan will give you a special visa, but not citizenship.
That makes sense. They're really particular about who exactly is Japanese.
Yeah, South Korea is the exact same as well, I should mention.
Ah.
But also Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Poland. And for some reason, I wrote maybe next to Slovakia, and I don't remember why. I don't know.
I will also add, check if you are of the male persuasion, check if it's like, oh no, I can apply. Check to make sure there isn't a military requirement, because I do have a
Or
friend who his father is Greek. He never got dual citizenship because his dad didn't want him having to do his 2 years. And it's the same with Korea.
makes sense. So yeah, there are a lot of options with that, but like I said, if you hit a roadblock at your great grandparents, you're probably not going to have much luck. I did read that Italy has a very kind of circuitous labyrinthine process to figure out if you have direct contact, and that's one of the few European countries that goes further than your grandparents.
Yeah, I have a friend who's going through that process for Italy now, and it's not even that she has to like go that far back,
Yeah.
but and it's also kind of frustrating because Italy, I think, presents itself as just like, please come back, we want you, come
Mhm.
here, like build our tax base, yay! And then the actual process is like you need, like, depending on where the documentation is for like birth certificates, death certificates, marriage
Yeah.
certificates. For my friend, all of that is located in New York, and it requires her to like hire on retainer an immigration lawyer as
Hmm.
like part of that whole thing to like
Right.
get notarizations or whatever.
So you personally have a bit of experience with this, with the country of Ireland, the homeland.
Indeed. Yeah. And I had it extremely easy in that. So my grandparents on my mother's side came over, and then my mom did all of the legwork of, because you need original documentation of,
Mhm.
like I said, marriage certificate, death certificate, change of name if required, this, that, and the other thing. I had to add like my mother's passport, American and Irish, and all of this stuff. But she had done all that, like she was in Ireland getting all this documentation because she wanted it. And then she was like, well, if you want it as well, like here it all is, like all
That's
bundled up and
awesome.
ready to go. I could have had it back in 2009, but I kept thinking like I kept applying for the Foreign Service Office, and I was like, well, they
Mm.
don't take kindly to dual citizenships. And I also remember calling the I remember calling the embassy to inquire about it, and the woman was like, "Well, it's a 300 euro fee." And I was like,
Hmm,
300, and then I
so
just
much
didn't
money
do it.
then.
Yeah, and so I just didn't do it for another 10 years.
Right.
And then I was like, "Yeah, take all of my money. Here
Right.
we go."
Yeah, so it can really vary country to country where like you
Yeah,
said, Ireland is super chill
yeah,
comparatively. Italy is
yeah.
a mess. From what I've read, Latvia is a pretty good one if you have Latvian background,
Ooh.
but they do require like you have to know the language and they're very hardcore
Oh,
about this getting the information right. But once you have it, apparently it's a bit of a breeze.
interesting.
Which brings us to legis sanguinis, which means
Wait,
Leges,
so this would be, what did we say before? We said like blood
rule of
law,
blood.
rule of blood. So this would be like law of blood or like word
Spot
of
on.
blood.
Yep, law of blood. So Legis Sanguinis is very, very, very interesting. Now, I think when most people think of this, one of the top ones that comes back as right to return are the official stance of Israel, where like anyone of Jewish ancestry can come and live there. But they're not the only country that does that. And I found some really interesting, a couple countries that are really interesting to do this. The first of which is Ghana. In 2019, Ghana started the right of abode, which states that anyone with lineage linked to the African diaspora is allowed to move
Oh,
to Ghana and get an indefinite residence visa.
oh, that's so
Uh,
cool.
so there are requirements. The first is that you have to submit two letters of recommendation of your good character, and they have to be written by either notaries, lawyers, senior officials, or anyone approved by the Minister of the Interior, Henry Cordy. And everyone who submits these letters has to live in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You cannot have been convicted of a crime that resulted in more than a year in prison. You should be able to financially support yourself. And you have to, quote, make a substantial contribution to the development of Ghana as a citizen. Also, you have to be at least 18.
Okay.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, the letters of recommendation are probably the hardest part. But Ghana, I mean, Ghana's a very interesting option, especially because it is an English-speaking nation. We've
Mm,
talked about them before. It's an extraordinarily stable government. It's
yeah.
probably one of the most financially stable, like rising nations in Africa right now. So Ghana is a pretty solid option
Yeah.
going forward.
Beautiful country.
Yeah. Another option is Sierra Leone. Now Sierra Leone is a bit of a different process to go through, and with them, they grant citizenship with proof of DNA lineage.
Oh, wow.
So DNA testing must be done through a company called African Ancestry, and it costs around $300. And so they do a paternal and maternal DNA test. So if you are a woman, you have to find a male relative to also take a DNA test with you, to look at XY and XX chromosomes or something like that.
Okay, I
Yeah.
guess.
And so after African Ancestry looks through all the details, if your DNA traces back to a indigenous group from Sierra Leone, then you have the option of potentially moving there. So the first thing you have to do is if they say, yeah, you have real ancestors who date back to Sierra Leone, you then have to schedule a tour with an approved travel company to go to Sierra Leone.
This is a lot of kickbacks.
It's a lot. Yeah, and African Ancestry also runs these tours, as do a
Shut
few
up.
others. Yep,
No.
yep. So you go there for a week. You meet. It's alluded that you meet your relatives that you didn't know you had. You get to spend time in Sierra Leone, see how you like it, and then if you decide, yeah, I want to keep going, so then you pay for a visa. There are very specific dates where they have the visa ceremonies, so you have to go out there for that. And in total, it costs around $7,500, which compared to a lot of the other options we're going to get to, pretty
Yeah.
fucking affordable.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, it's like so many of the places, like, oh, yeah, it's a low cost, but it's not including, like we said, like immigration lawyers that
Right.
you end up having to hire. And that's a huge, like, $1,000 cost or whatever.
And unlike Ghana, this process ends with you getting full citizenship.
Oh, damn.
So yeah,
Well, I'd hope so. It's like
right,
your DNA matched. Come on
right,
now.
right. And it's a bit of a dice roll because Sierra Leone is not a very big country.
Right.
However, it was one of the main areas ravaged by the transatlantic slave trade. So
Mm,
if we're looking at in America in specific, the odds are there.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's a time consuming sort of thing. I don't believe the next visa ceremony is until August of next year. So it's not going to be a quick thing, but it's a pretty good option if you just want to get the hell out and get immediate citizenship.
Hmm.
Which brings us to Jewish pathways. Now, we know Israel has the right to return, but there are four other countries that offer opportunities for Jews in America. Portugal and Spain offer fast track options for Sephardic Jews,
Ooh.
who I believe I know we talked about Sephardic Jews. I want to say a year ago, but is essentially when the reconquest happened in the Iberian Peninsula, the Muslims and the Jews got kicked out.
Yeah.
And so this program is kind of designed to be like, sorry, please, you can come back, please.
Yeah. Our bad.
So you can, in Spain in particular, you can go as far back as your great great grandparents,
Oh, wow.
and they have to have been practicing Sephardic Jews at the time. You do need to reside in Spain for 2 years, pass a language test, and then pass a cultural test. But then at
Ooh.
the end of that, you get your citizenship.
Okay, that's cool. And you get to learn the Castilian accent
Oh
Spanish.
my God, it's so great. As for Portugal, it's pretty much the same thing, but you have to prove that your family ties go back to Portugal instead of Spain, and you have to live in the country for 3 years. Austria and Germany also offer a pathway to descendants of Jews who were forced out during the Holocaust. I don't know how applicable it is nowadays because it was mostly for people born before 1953.
Oh, interesting.
But if you were born out of wedlock prior to 1993 from someone who was kicked out of the country, then you can go back and get your citizenship. I don't know. It's very weird.
I would think they should just open the gates
Right.
and yeah, come on. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So that pretty much covers genetic luck. It is nice to finally get to a country where you have immediate citizenship and don't really have to worry about it. Sierra Leone, I think, definitely has the fastest of the options that are available there if you qualify for it.
right.
But yeah, it's definitely you're kind of shit out of luck if you don't have the ancestry to back it up.
Just such a
But
shame because, all of us in America come from somewhere.
exactly. But lucky for us, there's a
Yes.
fucking wild card option.
Ooh.
An option out of goddamn nowhere that's complicated as shit and damn near impossible, but it is the one that probably has the lowest bar to entry for anyone in the world.
Let's do it.
North of Norway, between the tippy top of Norway and the North Pole, is an island by the name of Svalbard, spelled
Yes.
Svalbard.
I follow a YouTuber who's from Sweden and like documents her life living on Svalbard, and it
Oh
looks
my God.
amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible. So the cool thing about Svalbard is you do not need a visa or a passport to go there, to live there, to move there. You can just go and you can live there.
Like, hello.
Asterisks.
Great.
So there are requirements to stay, and these requirements are ultimately decided by the governor of Svalbard slash chief of police, because he has both jobs.
I love it.
And he has the final say on who gets to stay and who has to go. And he does that when people show the fuck up.
Oh,
To be able to stay, you have to obtain work and housing before you show up. Because Svalbard
okay.
is fucking cold.
Yes.
And if you don't have a job, you don't have a place to live. And this is predominantly because almost all housing is owned by the employers in the small towns that are there.
Oh,
Norway owns the rest of the land that hasn't been built on and does not sell it for people to build homes.
oh, because they care about the environment and the polar bears.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there are polar bears. There are a lot of polar bears.
There are. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty much the only way to get a home is to have a job because your employer will give you a place to live.
Oh,
So if you're just showing up expecting to get hired immediately, the governor of Svalbard will kick you out because if you're trying to sleep outside, you're gonna die either from the cold or from polar bears or from
yeah.
walking into the ocean.
Yeah.
So looking at the job options, there are weirdly enough, there's about 8 to 9 restaurants in Svalbard.
Hell yeah.
Predominantly they are very high cuisine. It's a bit of a
Ooh.
tourist destination now, so most of the restaurants are high on the hoit and toit.
Ooh. Okay.
There is a brewery that's there. There is a coffee shop that is just filled to the brim with huskies.
Oh my
It is both
goodness.
adorable and loud, I am sure.
Yes.
The Global Seed Bank is also there in Svalbard,
Oh,
as
interesting.
is their own university, which seems to just focus entirely on polar sciences.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
For quite a while, there were also two coal mining towns that were entirely owned by the Soviet Union.
Oh, wow.
One of them is completely abandoned, and they're trying to
Mhm.
turn it into like a tourist destination, so they opened a hotel there. But if I remember right, it is the most northerly bust of Stalin in the world. Is there like in the town square? Yeah, it just looks very, very Russian. Up until May of this year, the last Russian coal mine closed up, so you can no longer get coal mining jobs in Svalbard.
Okay, so that's out.
Yeah, well, and if you did, you would have to speak Russian.
All right.
Yeah. So I went looking around for jobs to see if it was possible to move there. So far, the only place that I've seen that hires on a regular basis is the University Center at Svalbard. When I first looked, they were hiring a professor for a PhD program in polar sciences. Now they are hiring a pair of people to become station managers, but you do need to be fluent in Norwegian, which isn't entirely a requirement in the other jobs there because other places speak English and
Ah,
Swedish
ah.
or
Well,
Russian.
yeah, yeah, putting Russia's Norwegian isn't like it on the like FSI track. It's one of the easier languages to learn for English
Right.
speakers. So there's that. I mean, could we offer up our like I obviously this university focuses on Polish studies. That makes sense. But maybe someone wants to take a screenwriting class.
One would fucking hope, but I get why that's probably not an option. So I was looking around at a few other places. There's a Facebook group entitled Svalbard Jobs, and every single post for the last half a year is people being like, I would like to work there. And the locals being like, no, no, we want jobs.
Oh
Go away.
God. Oh no.
So
Oh no. So this is a case of us coming in and gentrifying Svalbard.
Europe,
No,
yeah.
no.
So yeah, the locals are having a hard enough time finding work on their own. So really about your only option is to get hired for a hyper specialized position that no one else on the island can do.
Right. Which is also the case with many work visas anywhere. It's
Right.
like you got to prove that there isn't someone else who could just do your job locally.
Exactly. So technically it's the easiest, and technically it's also the hardest.
I love it.
Also, the other downside is that during the time that you're living there, Svalbard is run by Norway. But if you're living there, it does not count to gaining Norwegian citizenship. You don't get any residency years while you're in Svalbard.
But I do think you have the Norwegian social services
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
have to be employed and your employer is like providing you that
correct.
sweet, sweet Norwegian healthcare.
Right. That is correct. You just will never be a Norwegian citizen.
But you'll be on Svalbard.
That's true. You'll get a gun. You'll get to be scared of polar bears.
You'll get
Um,
polar nights and
polar
endless days in the summer.
God, sounds horrible. Great and horrible. So yeah, but if you just kind of want to fuck off to nowhere and not be worried that you'll like get a job in Antarctica and then get extradited from McMurdo, then keep an eye on Svalbard, learn some Norwegian, Duolingo a little Swedish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, this brings us to our next category. Hard for most, but real easy if you got money.
All right, let's
Sorry.
imagine.
This is the category of golden visas.
Ooh.
These are programs that essentially let you buy residency via donations to the country's government, investing in businesses, and or buying real estate.
Isn't this like another way you can gain Irish citizenship?
Yeah, it's $1 million for Ireland.
God damn.
Yeah. America's a little easier on their golden visas. It's if you just want residency, it's between $100,000 and $200,000. But if you want to get your green card in 5 years, then it's $900,000. So it's a good number to keep in mind when we talk about the options as we go down here, because weirdly enough, there are some options that, like, if you own a condo or got real lucky when GameStop did a thing, or like if you get an inheritance out of nowhere, there's stuff that's like within reach that could maybe work.
Hmm.
But first, we have a scam alert.
Scam alert. Scam alert. Scam alert.
So there's a lot of information online about a golden visa program in the country of Bolivia. that states that you could just give the government of Bolivia anywhere between $5,000 to $15,000, and they will send you a passport in the mail, and you are automatically a citizen. This is a scam
Oh my God.
across the board. It was the top fucking Google results brought this scam up
Wow.
as if it was legit. Bolivia does not offer a golden visa program. This is not a real thing.
Like
So
at all.
do not throw your money to just get a really cheap fake passport.
No.
But we should talk about the countries that do let you do this. And I wanted to focus on countries where citizenship is immediate, that once you pay the money, you are a citizen and you're done. The very first one, Antigua and Barbuda, which is a Caribbean nation. Each of these countries have their own rules of what you got to do, but across the board, what all these countries will ask you to do is to hire a local agent and a marketing representative. Most of these countries will have a list that the government provides of people that they trust and work with. And the
Nice.
entire point of these people is to kind of be a middleman between your money and where it's going.
Right.
So you're not just like dumping it into a hole and hoping for the best.
I like the, what did you say? A marketing agent?
Yep, marketing representative.
Marketing representative. I just like the idea of like, you need to place a billboard advertising yourself.
I am coming to your island. Sorry.
It's like, Oda O'Leary, she would like to live here 2025.
God.
And it's me in like a suit jacket,
Oh my-
arms crossed, hair
Everyone
blown
votes
out.
no for some reason.
Yeah.
So with Antigua and Barbuda, you have to do one of the following. Either buy at least $400,000 in real estate, invest $100,000 in the National Development Fund, invest $1.5 million in a business, or invest $150,000 in the University of the West Indies Fund. So not terrible, like compared to, Ireland and America, those are pretty decent rates. After that, you pay a fee of $37,500. Citizenship is immediate, and you can apply with your spouse, dependent children up to the age of 28, or dependent parents over 58. So pretty cut and dry. Grenada also offers a program. For them, you have to invest $250,000 into the national fund and purchase $350,000 in real estate. Now, here's the problem with real estate is when I was initially looking at it, I was thinking like, oh, this is like if you buy a home, it counts for this. That is not the case. Like, you are investing in real estate. You're not buying a home, which typically means you're investing in a timeshare.
Oh my God.
For those of you lucky enough to not know what a timeshare is, bless your souls, but it's essentially like a large number of people all go in to buy a property. And depending on the number of people who go in on it, you divide the number of weeks in a year by the number of people who went on this property. And that dictates how many weeks in the year you're allowed to visit this place.
Yeah.
And they're impossible to sell. They're terrible investments. But yeah, that's mostly what these are. Now, in Granada, there was one example I saw where you could purchase a condo for $350,000 that was all yours. However, it's 400 square feet. But it's all yours and it's $350,000 and you have immediate citizenship.
Fuck it. Yeah. Let's own some property.
Now, I would note that most of the websites that are linked on the Granadan website do not work, don't go anywhere. I think one brought up that like GeoCities ass looking casino prompt sort of thing.
Oh.
So it might not be the best. But, if you're working with a local agent and a marketing representative, they will make sure that your money doesn't go to those people.
Yeah, where it doesn't suddenly become like you have to purchase $500,000 worth of Herbalife and then find three friends who also want citizenship.
Pyramid citizenship is terrifying. And I'm shocked that no one's done that yet.
Truly.
Another option in the Caribbean, St. Kitts and Nevis. This one might actually be, it's the second best option, I think. So you have to do one of the following: invest $150,000 in a government fund or purchase $200,000 in real estate that you cannot sell for 7 years. And a lot of the real estate sites actually have an option where you can click on government approved homes that will count towards this.
Oh.
I could not find anything under $400,000 that wasn't a money pit or a timeshare in a hotel.
Good. Okay.
You do have to pay $13,000 in fees, but once again, citizenship is immediate and you get to live on St. Kitts. And finally, in the Caribbean, we have St. Lucia. There you donate $100,000 to the National Economic Fund. This goes up if you're bringing a spouse or if you're bringing your family. Or you can deposit $500,000 in an interest-free government bond, which after 5 years, you get back.
Oh, Okay.
Yeah. You could also buy government approved real estate for at least $300,000, and you have to keep the property for 5 years before selling it. Or you invest $3.5 million in a business that you start in St. Lucia. You have to hire 3 people to permanent jobs, and there is a joint investment option if you don't have all the money yourself, but then you have to raise $6 million and you have to create 6 jobs. And after 3 months, you get citizenship.
I think I like how St. Lucia has like done a little bit of thinking this through of like how can we best maximize this for the people who already live here. Like
Right.
if you're going to be quote unquote like business,
Mhm.
it can't just be post box
Yeah. Yeah.
mailing address
Mhm.
and a Delaware based LLC. Like
Right, right. Yeah, I think it's probably one of the best thought out golden visas out there. Donating $100,000, it's a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but it's one of those things that's at least within reach. It's not
yeah,
so high that like everyone is fucked.
definitely cheaper than buying a condo in Chicago.
Right. Also, the deposit of $500,000 for 5 years, I think is genius. I think that's a really, really smart way to go about that.
Right.
If you're willing to part with $500,000 for 5 years and then get all
Yeah.
of that back, then that's
It's a
amazing.
win-win for you and the government.
100%. Yeah, it's a great idea. But let's say you don't want to go to the Caribbean. You do have some options. Sticking with islands, you could always just go to Malta.
Okay. Talk to me
Now,
about Malta.
so for Malta is a little harder. Malta kind of requires you to be fucking rich.
Yeah.
They require that you hire a team of financial and immigration professionals.
Malta needs to not think so highly of themselves.
Oh, you're going to be
Their
so
language is
disappointed as this goes.
insane.
Oh, you have no idea. You get citizenship after 1 year, and you have to do everything in this list.
Good Lord.
Donate 750,000 euros to a government development fund. Pay 50,000 euros for every family member applying along with you. Donate 10,000 euros to an approved artistic, philanthropic, cultural, or scientific organization.
What?
Buy a home for at least 700,000 euros or sign a rental lease for 1,333 euros and 33 sub euros a month. And the lease must be for 5 years.
Who is doing this?
In total, at minimum, this is going to cost you 1.4 million euros or $1.6 million.
Like, is this for Russian oligarchs or
And it has to be, I think.
yeah, or just like, yeah, I don't who is like desperate for Maltan citizenship?
I don't know. It's on a pretty island in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, yeah.
Now let's say you don't have all that money. They do have an option if you're a little poorer. Ugh. There's an option to get citizenship after 3 years. And for that, you only have to donate 600,000 euros to the government development fund.
Oh my God.
All the rest stays the same.
God damn it.
10K to a charity, 700K for a home or a lease of like 1,333 threes forever euros a month. And in total, that's going to cost you 1.3 million euros or $1.4 million.
No.
Like, I don't know why. Like, if you're already thinking of this, fucking cough up the $200,000, you fucking gross oligarch. Pay for the year, you idiot.
I just don't understand.
Like, if you're cutting corners on cheap citizenship, what the fuck is wrong with you? But that's not all. You also have to prove that you have enough money to maintain yourself without social assistance. So no spending all of your money just to get in, just to be, sleeping on the beach.
Okay, well now I'm out.
And you have to be fluent in Maltese.
No. Okay, so they just don't want people.
Right? No, this applies to maybe 2 people, and they're both psychotic.
Like at that amount of money, you can just bribe the people about whether or not
You can
speak Maltese.
You can move at least 10 people to St. Lucia with that money.
Yeah.
An equally nice place, dare I say. Sorry,
Equally nice
Malta and your
place.
Falcons. But yeah, you're talking about how Maltese is one of the worst languages to learn.
I didn't say worse,
Yeah.
but it is a wackadoo language.
Yeah, from what I read, it's a mix of Italian, Sicilian, English, and Sicilian Arabic.
Yes.
Which is, Arabic's already a tough language, and treating it as a monolith is one of the most frustrating things in my old work life, where Moroccan Arabic,
Wildly different.
wildly different from Yemeni Arabic. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. And so the idea of Sicilian Arabic just breaks my brain. But yeah, you got to be fluent in Maltese. You can bring your spouse or long-term partner, but you have to be monogamous. You can bring dependent children up to 29. So bring your fail sons, bring your fail daughters.
You definitely have them.
You might not know it, but they are on your yacht right now. You can bring your parents or grandparents of your spouse. A reminder though, all additional people come with a 50,000 euro fee.
Yeah, they just don't want people to like buy their way into Malta. That's what
Yeah.
I'm feeling
I
from
don't
this.
even know why it's there to begin with, other than they're just like, fuck it, we'll get 3 idiots and we'll be able to pay
Right.
for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Like these 3 idiots will ensure that every person who was born here gets to live like free of any nonsense.
I'm pretty sure there's also like a bit of a mafia problem on
Yeah,
Malta.
I think that's probably a fair guess. Yeah, you kick out the Templars, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So all right, so that's too expensive. I get it. Let's go down a peg. Let's look at Turkey. Turkey's an option.
Yeah, if you want to go from out of the oven into the frying pan in
Look,
terms of dictatorships.
the mayor of New York City doesn't have that many options. So let's
Yeah, yeah. You're imagine yourself, you're Eric Adams right now. Go,
right.
tell me about Turkey.
Yeah, I put the hammer down, you're dumb enough. So for Turkey, you just have to quote hire an expert.
Shut up.
And then do one of the following: purchase $250,000 in real estate,
Yeah.
or invest $500,000 in government bonds for a minimum of 3 years, or put $500,000 in a bank for 3 years, much like St. Lucia. Make a real estate or venture capital investment of $500,000 over 3 years, or start a company that hires 50 people and you have no fee. Just start a company.
And hire 50 people.
Yep.
Okay.
Citizenship is then granted between 3 to 6 months. Also, you really need to learn Turkish, which the quote I read was not difficult to learn, but difficult to use.
Oof.
Kind of sounds a lot like Dutch, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the final option if you have the money: the Pacific Island nation of Vanuatu.
Oh yeah.
Once again, you have options. You can invest $130,000 in a government fund or purchase a government approved property for $200,000. As of right now, there are only 4 properties you can invest that money in. None have been built.
Oh no.
None of them have any mock-ups beyond like this was, we drew this up before a meeting. There's
Oh
like
no.
tiny people waving in a courtyard. There's clip art that's been moved in. There is one where it's like you can see the construction has been done, and a lot of people in the area are not happy about it. It's just like big hotels and big resorts, and you're investing money into it, and there is no guarantee you're actually going to get a property in that resort. You're just investing, and that's it. And you're getting
Yeah.
and you're not allowed to sell that share for a while because one of the places isn't expected to be built until 2029.
We're gonna be
Also,
dead by then.
right. And also the place that won't open until 2029 has been accused of paying workers $1.70 an hour.
Oh God. I hate it when the grift is this obvious.
And on top of that, you have to pay a fee of $135,000, but you have immediate citizenship. And also they seem to be very open about accepting all direct family members with no limits.
Oh, okay. Chain migration.
And the thing that they have that no one else does, and I know you're craving this, you're allowed to pay in crypto.
Shut up. Now we're talking.
But they do state it's more of a technically you can pay in crypto, because how it goes is you give your crypto to the agent you hire, and the agent then sells the coins and then pays the government in actual money.
With real money.
Right.
That works in a society.
My Doge went to building this place that got built with slave labor.
Yeah. Oh.
So those are the golden visas. But let's say you're not an asshole.
Yeah.
Let's say you just want to start a business, that you don't want to, take advantage of people or be one of the 6 oligarchs moving to Malta that now you have to hang out with and invite to dinner parties because, no one else understands what you just went through, or that your daughter's doing Molly in the back of the yacht and your son fucking shot someone and now you got to cover that up. And that's why you're in fucking Malta.
Learning Maltese.
Oh, gosh. So there is one program that Americans can take advantage of called the Dutch American Friendship Tree, or DAFT.
daft.
So the deal with this is Americans can move to the Netherlands and start a business. And so long as the business is profitable, they can remain in the Netherlands. That said, there are expectations that if your goal is permanent residency, then you have to learn Dutch. And
Dutch is the language where, like, I follow a number of polyglots on YouTube for funsies,
yeah.
and Dutch is routinely the language where, like, they'll have a video being like, for my sixth language, I'm gonna learn Dutch. I can't wait. It's so exciting. And then maybe 30 days later or whatever, they have an update video. And it's like, fuck this language.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely not.
Look, I know Twitter likes joking about how written Dutch is ridiculous as shit, but the number of people who I read who have taken part in the DAFT program have said that, you think it's going to be easy and you look at it and then you start trying to do like immersion learning using Dutch with people who are there, but they get so frustrated so fast if you mispronounce something that they just immediately switch to English and refuse to talk to you in Dutch.
Come on.
Mhm.
How are we supposed to learn?
Don't get out.
Yeah, yeah.
Get out of our flood doomed town.
We know you're just here for the weed anyway.
What's your business? You sell a bike a year? Fuck you.
Yeah, it's very profitable.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they don't have limits on what the business can be. It could be like, it can be cleaning homes, it could be building things, it could be IT, it could be a one-person business where you offer your services to people and that counts.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's really not a bad program. It's just you do have to learn Dutch and people like your everyday neighbors aren't going to help.
Yeah. Also, if you talk to any European and ask them, so of the EU, who's the rudest? Who do you hate to see showing up at your hotel? It's like the Dutch. Like over and away more than Americans. They hate the Dutch. And then you interact with the Dutch and you quickly figure out why.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, we just say things directly. I don't know what the problem is. It's like, you are the problem.
Yeah.
No one else does that.
It should probably also be noted, too, that if you're leaving America due to, I don't know, the political climate, the Netherlands also is not a good choice. They have been heavily flirtatious with fascism for at least 2 decades. The fascists have not taken control yet, but there is a pretty strong undercurrent.
Yeah, I would also say, like, if you've been used to subtle dog whistling northern style racism, you are in for a rude awakening in Europe where it is all just flat out racism.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to our next to last category.
The penultimate. Medium,
hard, and not fun. So there is the option that like you can get citizenship or a long residency by volunteering for the military in foreign nations.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's how historically a lot of people earn their citizenship in the US.
So the number of countries that do this, it kind of surprised me how few there are. You can in Australia, but you have to have previous military experience and immediately apply for citizenship when you join. Bahrain offers a program, but you have to be a Sunni Muslim. And Montenegro, anyone can, but Montenegro has to be at war for it to count. So if someone is attacking Lil Montenegro, now's your time. But until then, no, you're not allowed.
I love that. Where it's like, no, you can't just buck around in the military for a few years. Like, you need to be actively fighting for us. Put your life on the line. We're Montenegro.
Is someone trying to start a war with us just so they can join our army? What is that? In New Zealand, you can join if you're either active duty military or if you are recently serving. So if you've left after 6 to 12 months, then you can join the New Zealand military. In Russia, as of right now, if you're between the ages of 18 and 30 and somewhat fluent in Russian, you can join their army, but you have to sign a 5-year contract.
Oh, I'm sure you don't even need to be that fluent in Russian. They want
fluent.
you. They want you now. They brought in North Korean soldiers.
But it says somewhat fluent.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, I think...
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
Disregard that. Also, I just love have you seen this as well? The stories about the North Koreans who are now out of North Korea just watching so much porn because they have access to the internet.
I mean, you should before getting thrown into the meat grinder. That's only fair. My God. Also, you can apply for Russian citizenship after 3 years of service. So, you have a goal.
Again, good luck with a country that for, I don't know, since the age of the czars, since Napoleon, its military strategy has just been throw bodies at the problem.
Yeah.
That's it. And
I mean,
somehow
it's
it's
worked.
always worked. They've always had bodies. Don't add to the bodies. Move on. Next.
I mean, yeah, the people leaving America for Russia, that's that's a weird Venn diagram that I don't want to know.
Yeah, but there's Schadenfreude when they realize it is not all that's cracked up to be.
And finally, Slovakia does offer this. As long as America stays within NATO, then you can do that.
Asterix.
Yeah, so, hurry if you want to go there.
Huh.
But there are two international countries that have their own international legion, one of which is Ukraine.
Ooh, fight for the goodies.
So, all right. So there are requirements if you're going to join the Ukrainian International Legion. You have to be between 18 and 60 years old.
Damn, okay.
Yeah, that doesn't tell me things are going great. But
No.
2, you're not allowed to have a criminal record. 3, no chronic diseases. You have to be physically fit.
Well, I'm out.
You have to legally be able to get to Ukraine.
Oh, okay.
And you must be able to speak either English, Spanish, or Ukrainian.
I like how Spanish is included.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. They have a couple things too that, like with any sort of job postings, things that would be nice. Like if you have military or relevant experience, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
If you have combat experience, even better.
Great, yeah.
Not required.
Certainly preferred.
So if you still want to do this, step 1, you scan your passport, and this is all done on their website. You scan your passport, you scan your military record if applicable, not necessary. Step 3, fill out their online form. Step 4, email the whole shebang to them and await their response. The contract is 3 years long, but you can cancel it after 6 months, so long as you're not currently deployed. So yeah.
And alive.
Right. They also can automatically prolong your contract. So if you're always deployed, you're pretty much there for as long as the Legion wants. But you do get paid. It's $550 a month, and then $1,100 per month if you're in a dangerous zone, and then $4,800 a month if you're deployed to combat. So the $550 a month, I think, is like boot camp, or if you're like behind the lines doing paperwork.
Yeah.
Also, if you die, your family gets $400,000.
Okay.
Yeah. And service creates a pathway to Ukrainian citizenship, just like in Starship Troopers.
Oh.
But let's say that sounds too nice. That, you might be hanging out with people who, have morals or decency.
Yeah, yeah.
You do have one other option if you don't want to deal with that shit. Una, what do you know about the French Foreign Legion?
Oh my God. Very
You've
little, except they're terrible, and they were terrible in Africa.
Oh, they still are. They were, as the Mitch
Oh.
Hedberg joke goes, they used to be and still are.
Incredible.
So the French Foreign Legion, is I think it's been very romanticized of just like, oh, you just want to disappear and join the Legion and see the world. And
Yeah, the outfits are great. Everyone smokes.
right, you're allowed tattoos. They like encourage tattoos.
Little Russian prison of them, but okay.
Well, yeah. So if you want to join the French Foreign Legion, they have very specific things that you have to do. Step 1, pack a bag meeting the French Foreign Legion's requirements. This includes required documents, 3 t-shirts, underwear, socks. I'm assuming pants because they don't say pants. 1 pair of shoes.
Trousers, perhaps?
Of course, probably trousers. 1 pair of shoes, between 10 to 50 euros, soap, a razor, shaving cream, toothbrush, toothpaste, towel, and bath shoes. They highly recommend against bringing your laptop or credit cards. They ban packing any weapons or keys. So don't bring your house keys. Don't bring your car keys.
What?
You bring the barest fucking minimum. And step 2, get a flight to a recruitment office of the French Foreign Legion, either in Paris or Aubange, Aubagne. Aubagne, probably. Aubagne? Paris. Fly to Paris with your shit.
With your 1 bag.
Your 1 bag of bullshit. So they do have requirements on who is allowed to go to this recruitment office and actually apply. You have to have a valid passport or ID. You have to be a man between the ages of 17 and a half and 39 and a half.
Okay.
So this does bring up the question that I saw in a couple forums. Do they accept trans men? The interesting thing I learned about this is the French military absolutely does.
May we? Okay. Bien
The French,
sûr.
the French Foreign Legion, however, are
Oh.
fucking assholes. And
Oh.
the main things that I read on the French Foreign Legion message boards were either people answering a straightforward, just being like, they will make your life a living hell, even if they let you in, until you either quit or kill yourself, or it was just anti-trans bullshit.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you know, this is not a good option for trans men at all. So you also have to have a verified birth certificate, either in English or French, and it must have been verified within 6 months of applying. You can apply without a birth certificate, but it does make the selection process more difficult. You cannot be wanted by Interpol. You must be physically fit. You have to be literate in the language of your origin. You have to have a BMI between 18 and 30.
There's the French I know.
Yeah. I was actually shocked that my BMI doesn't hit 30. So, you know, if it wasn't for the MS and being over 40, I could have totally
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to be missing no more than 4 to 6 of your teeth, and 40% of your remaining teeth must be healthy.
Great.
You cannot be missing any fingers.
Okay. I just feel like this needs to be updated from like 1911 when it was
No,
put together.
it's just handsome jerks
Yeah.
from around the world.
Yeah.
You cannot have any of the following diseases: tuberculosis, hepatitis, cancer, HIV, diabetes, any psychiatric disorder that requires treatment.
So me with my SSRIs and my womanhood, I'm
Nope.
out.
No. Oh, no. Womanhood's the greatest disease. You cannot have any Nazi or clearly racist tattoos.
So at
Vaguely
least there's
racist
that.
is fine.
Vaguely racist.
Like if you have a new slur that we don't know about, come on in. Cannot have any, quote, stupid tattoos on your face or arm.
That's incredible.
You cannot have a large tattoo across your face unless it is culturally significant.
Okay.
So if you fit all of these, you're allowed to go in and apply. And the expectation is that you will sign a 5-year contract, which brings us to step 2, the selection process, which takes around 3 weeks. And during this time, the French Foreign Legion gives the applicant free housing, food, and clothing. The process officially begins once they take possession of your clothing and your passports.
Well, then why did I pack the fucking bag?
To get here. Oh, and the bag's just like while you're waiting to like get in, I assume, or like for part of your travel, and to
Yeah.
make sure you follow orders.
Bro, yeah, that for sure.
You go through a series of tests, of course, starting with the IQ test.
Ugh.
What would a racist brigade be without the IQ test? You then take a personality test, I assume, to, you know, the Myers-Briggs probably.
Amazing.
A fitness test involving running, swimming, and pull-ups, and then medical tests and documentation review. Which brings to step 3, whether or not you're selected. The French Foreign Legion notes that only 10 to 15% of applicants get accepted. Some people are given a letter saying try again in 3 to 12 months, but most are banned from ever applying again.
Wow.
So if you're
Don't
going to
get that face
apply,
tattoo.
I'm going to get the most racist face tattoo because of this.
You don't want me? I quit.
Fuck you. I'm doing this because you hurt me so much. So yeah, if you're gonna do this, do it at the height of your strength, because you essentially have one shot to be surrounded by terrible humans.
Right.
But if you get in, you get free room, food, and clothing, and at minimum will make 1,560 euros a month. And you also get a pension after 17 and a half years of service.
Oh.
You're also given a new identity.
Whoa.
And I think this is why this appealed to a lot of people who were like on the run early on joining the French Foreign Legion, because they change your name, change your ID, change your numbers. So if police are trying to find you, they're not going to be able to.
You're in the wind.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to keep this new identity for as long as you want. After a year, you earn the right to regain your old identity.
Wow. Something about that feels Catholic.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you haven't like committed murder or like deeply wanted, if you just, you know, robbed a bunch of banks or something, then you could just join the French Foreign Legion, disappear for a year, and if you want, never be found again. And just be
God, the
surrounded by equally
dream.
shitty people.
Yeah, but at what cost, right?
So that's pretty much the goal. And then, you know, you get your pension, you get to join highly racist and terrible message boards, and
God
just join the brotherhood of fuck awful dipshits.
Yeah.
but you don't got to live in America.
Hey.
You do kind of get to pick which brigade you get put into. They don't guarantee that you'll get it, but there is one specific brigade on the island of Reunion, which is a French island, I believe, in the Indian Ocean. It's a
Mhm.
gorgeous, gorgeous little island, and they do have a battalion that is there, but it's all the oldest people in the
Oh
foreign
yeah.
legion, and it's kind of like,
Seniority.
yeah, it's the retirement brigade where you just no one's
Absolutely.
attacking Reunion.
Yeah. And the weather's great.
And so they're like, you cannot request the reunion battalion, which brings us to our last one, the near impossible. Una, are you Beyonce? Are you Stephen Hawking? Are you the absolute best in your field of art, academia, or science?
I'm not even the best person in my apartment.
Well, this is the global talent visa.
Oof.
Essentially the celebrity visa, because you just kind of
Can do
say
whatever
you're the
you
best,
want.
and any country will take you just to say they now have you.
Yeah.
So, any famous or well awarded academics listening to the podcast,
Mhm.
if you didn't know about this, oh no. But yeah, it's the last option.
Jump on it. Get your Nobel Peace Prize and get on going.
But this is also the visa that got Melania Trump into America. So,
What?
yep, she got in on a global talent visa.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So it's not like it's like for actors as well and just like
Oh yeah.
models
Oh yeah.
and people like
It,
that.
it
Okay.
it's a mix between I've won 2 Nobel prizes in physics. Also, this person's been in like every episode of Seinfeld. Equally, both can get in.
Yeah. Don't the Canadian actors use this a lot to live and work in Hollywood?
I don't know, honestly. I imagine that's probably more of a work visa sort of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then eventually they probably get residency and then can just go about that route.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the last one. That's those are the
Yeah.
options.
I mean, I think France has a pretty lax artist visa.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Hmm,
I mean, lax in the sense that it's like they love artists, so you can start there.
international talents and economic attractiveness. Oh God,
Yeah, they
goddamn
still
France.
made it French.
Yeah, this is super fucking French. Passeport talent. You'd stay for a maximum of 4 years, commencing on the. Wow, wow. You're a qualified or highly qualified paid employee, known as company. All right. You're a self employed person or engage in liberal profession. Ooh, you're a performer or have created a literary or artistic work.
Dusty the podcaster, maybe you want to move to France.
Oh man, you're able to
Seven.
justify a production or performance engagement for a duration of at least 3 months in order to carry. All right, so you have to put on a show for 3 fucking months in Paris in France. Fuck.
I know their deal is like you can get citizenship in 7 years, and the biggest thing is just like proof that you've been paying your taxes. Like
Oh,
that's what matters the most.
I
Like,
mean, not terrible. Also, a country that's on the verge of flirting with fascism. So,
yeah, but that's like all of Europe. I mean,
so
except Poland, but Poland is flirting with possibly being invaded by Russia next
right,
year.
it's tradition.
Yeah.
So you feel better, right? You feel better.
Listen, here's the thing. It's like I remember in 2016 yelling at my mom because she was giving me that same boomer mentality of just like, well, the Republicans are just gonna shoot themselves in the foot. And it's like there is no rock bottom here.
Yeah.
Like you need to understand that. But I remember like sobbing on the phone to her, being like, I already left the United States to teach English in Korea. I can't do that again. It's not like
Right.
anything stopping me, but it's like I did that already in my 20s. It was when it's easy.
Sorry, I got distracted for a second because Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to co-lead the Department of Government Efficiency. That's
We're so
wild.
fucked.
I mean, I was hearing Vivek was gonna get chosen to replace JD Vance in the Senate. So
Ugh.
fucking hell. Fucking hell. And I gotta find $200,000. Oh my God. So yeah, like, do any of these sound like a viable option for you, other than the one that's already the option that you've applied for?
I'm very privileged. Yes.
Yeah.
Man, like honestly, yeah, I'd probably be scouring for work visas
Mhm.
abroad and like Duolingoing my ass out of I am doing that, frankly, like
Right.
anyway, but I think the other problem as well is like a lot of people are seriously looking, so it's like there's going to be a
Mhm.
glut of American immigrants.
Well, another detail that I've been seeing a lot too is that a lot of countries do not accept disabled people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely a key thing that I'm looking at, where it's like, I might not be visibly disabled, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. And yeah, so trying to find an option for that is not great. It's also why I'm kind of like, I could get another master's degree. I don't know.
Honestly, yeah. I feel like that's the way to go. Like,
And if Trinity College offers a doctorate in playwriting, fuck yeah. I mean,
hell
that could be
fucking
amazing.
yeah. Do it.
I mean,
Do
I already have a what's the word? A categorically foolish amount of student loan debt. So I would have to look to see how Ireland deals with that, but I'm sure their college is probably cheaper in some regard.
Yeah, yeah. And as someone pointed out, like if there's no Department of Education, there's no loans. Go get fucked.
Interesting. Interesting point. Okay. Okay, might not be terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say as like just like a cap to all of this. So
Mhm.
I lived in South Korea for a year and a half, and then I was traveling around Asia for another 6 months, and then like worked at a hostel for a bit. And I had planned this like very long westerly route back home. I was like, oh, I'm going to take the Trans-Siberian Railroad. I'm going to see all
Mhm.
these sites. Da, da. And I ended up canceling all of it, booking a flight in Beijing back to the States because it's really psychologically breaking to be transient and like not with people who have known you longer than 2 weeks.
Right.
And so I was just having all of these like dreams that were essentially like full on homesickness because I hadn't seen my family, I hadn't seen friends from home in so long. I mean that's going to be different if like you are moving to a city, working, putting down roots, building into a community. But yeah, that's I will also offer that bit of lived experience is it's rough. It's rough as an immigrant.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think you make a really good point that if this is an option that a lot of people are either going with or eventually have to go with for, everything forbid, it is better to take it as like an immigration story than in like an expat story. There's going to be a lot of sacrifice no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And having that sort of mentality before diving into something instead of thinking like, oh, this is just going to be a great adventure, it's going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
That could be the case, but it's gonna be a difficult road no matter
Yeah.
what. But if
It,
it's the choice you have to make, then it's good to go in with that mentality of knowing.
yeah, unless you're moving to a gated community of other Americans
Yeah.
in Costa Rica, you're gonna hit culture shock. You're probably gonna hit culture shock even in that gated
Oh,
community if you're coming
100%.
from Orange County gated
Right.
community. It's yeah,
Well,
yeah,
the funny thing was like for every country from Ghana to Nicaragua, each and every local hates the expat community, especially if they make their own town. Like if that's your choice, you are not making new friends where you go. It's like it's your neighbors and you're staying. And
yeah,
that's gonna be the most mentally draining fucking thing. But if you're already a shell of a human being, I guess, sure.
yeah, yeah. What's one more challenge like learning Dutch,
Yeah.
frankly? Just
Yeah.
add it to the pile.
Yeah. God damn it. Well, I hope this was helpful. I really, really do.
Yeah.
It's, options are there, and I hope that no one is forced to have to look into this. I really,
Mhm.
really hope that for the future. But I think it's always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And,
Yeah.
if we're lucky enough to get 4 years of bumbling incompetence where no one gets hurt, amazing. That would be a miracle unto itself.
Yeah, that is our best case scenario right
Yeah.
now.
Well, next week or next time we're gonna be going back to our regular topics, and after the election and how heavy this topic is, I think it's time for us to dive back into animals who are elected mayor.
Yay!
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about a cute little animal who became mayor of an artsy little town.
Yay!
Yeah, it'll be a pretty quick one, but it's, we need it. We need some relaxation here for a bit. But yeah, everyone, take care of the people you love. Take care of yourself. I guess we'll see you next time here on Gadfly. Yeah. Gadfly is a production of Added Serotonin. Our episodes are edited by Brianna Valentine of Rem Alternus Productions. Our theme song is Sophomore Makeout by Silent Partner, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at GadflyPod.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy.
With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?